What's up, Bombshells? Welcome to Bombshell 1111 Podcast, Therapy for Women of Color. My name is Kia, and I'm your host. Generally, podcasts request donations, but I want you to show love by simply subscribing to my social media platforms by visiting my website at www.bombshell1111podcast.com. I want to see thousands of subscribers on this platform. Leave your comments and I'll show love by shouting you out on my social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. I want to thank you for your continued support as always. And with that being said, let's jump into this new episode. Welcome to Bombshell 1111 Podcast, Therapy for Women of Color, where we discuss mental health and personal development. I'm Kia, and I'm your host. Tonight, you guys, we have a very special guest discussing personal development by the name of Kyndra Crump. So let's get into it, Bombshells. Welcome, Kyndra. How are you?
All is well. How you feeling?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the podcast and wanting to share some knowledge, some tools, experience with the audience. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, for having me and everything else. We worked it out.
Yes, we did. After several rescheduling and having to go through that. Yeah, and I appreciate your patience. So Kyndra, before we get into our discussion for tonight, I always like to allow the audience to hear the guests do a short intro about who they are, what they do, and where they're from. So can you give the listening audience a little short bio about yourself?
Yes, I am a recent graduate from Clark Atlanta University. Got my bachelor's in mass communications with a concentration of radio, television, film. So the goal is to have my own radio and television show. Born and raised in Atlanta, but now I am living in a bridge house with Nelly and the Game. So we're in a poly relationship, and yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So what? Give us a little background about what kind of got you into doing comedy. How did you discover this passion for this?
So I've had people since I was J-High tell me I was hilarious and I need my own radio and television show, and especially kids, man. Kids will tell, it's three things that don't lie. It's children, a drunk man, and leggings. Okay. And when those kids will tell me, hey, I like her, you're hilarious. And my fourth grade teacher told me I was hilarious and everything else like that. Decided to start in 2016 via Snapchat. And I was like, hey, welcome back to the Kyndra Crump show. And it was at the time, it was like Lil' Kim's hardcore album, which actually I wrote some of her lyrics, but we beefing right now. So my name, for whatever reason, will not show up on that, the credits.
I understand.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame. But anyway, back to the story. So with all that being said, I decided to, post my videos from late 2016 to IG on late 2017, early 2018. And I realized IG is the way to go because you can go viral more so on there. And then I ended up posting my jumping on people's podcasts since October 2020. And since then, I've been on at least 700 podcasts.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been doing comedy?
It's really, since it was like 2016. So we 5 years in the making.
5 years in the making. And do you do stand-up comedy, or what form of comedy do you perform?
Stand up. I'll do it if need be. The fact that the gas prices and the cost of living is increasing. I am just going where if it's in a 5 or 10 mile radius. That's it. I know no more, no less.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being said, I try to just do podcasts and let my voice hit the podcast networks.
And what type of comedy do you do? When you're doing your comedy, are you discussing specific issues, or are you geared towards one specific thing, or what type of comedy do you do?
It's situational, dark humor, realism. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. It's one of three.
And so, the podcast it focuses on mental health and personal development. Mm-hmm. And with you being a comedian, how important would you say laughter is within one's life?
It's very important, man. You got to laugh to keep from crying, so you don't sit here and take everything seriously. Quit watching the Tell Live Vision. Okay, that's number one. All right, that'll keep you from being all depressed and everything else like that. Fear and everything else, it keeps you all worried and whatnot, But I think it's important to find something to occupy your mind in a positive light, comedy just feel good. You can always laugh. Pick somebody that you say, okay, I like them, they're up and coming, or just they've been in the game for a while, and keep rewatching it until you mimic what they say. That's it.
And how would you say, being a comedian and laughter has improved you just within your own personal life?
It has improved in the fact of it ain't improved the way I wanted to improve. I'm trying to make these guys laugh. They paycheck from they hand to my hand, but it ain't work yet. But I can laugh their draws off. But that's not hard,
Right.
But it's improved by me being able to gain the following I've been gaining. For some people to be like, "Hey, you're the comedian from social media," and that's pretty much it with that. So I've had that happen. So I think that's pretty dope. I'm like, all right, look at me. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm like, give me a hug. I'm like, now get out of here.
And what piece of advice would you give someone that is aspiring to be an up and coming comedian?
Well, this advice is universal. This advice is to anybody out there going after their dreams. I do a 5 for 5. All right. So my 5 Bible verses and 5 pieces of advice that have helped me along the way. And so I'm going to start with the Bible verse. Number 1 is, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. That's 1. Number 2 is, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed and renewed in the mind. Okay. Number 3 is, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Basically, that means when you do a good deed, because one day God will bless you, but when you do a good deed, don't sit here and boast and brag about it. Okay. Just do the good deed and keep it moving. Number 4 is, what is the profit of man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? And number 5 is, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you receive and you shall have it.
Ooh,
now,
amen.
Yes. Now, my 5 pieces of advice is, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you deal with it. That's number 1. Number 2 is, behind every no there is a yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number three is, expect the best but prepare for the worst. Mm-hmm. Number 4 is, never make a decision when you're desperate. And number 5 is, when you first meet somebody, start them off with an F and have them work their way to an A. Basically, what that means is, if you have that person you allow that person to pretty much be at an A with you, you're too trusting. You can't share all your plans and dreams with people. They will use it against you. You can't tell people your next move. For all ones that need to know, listen, I'm broke, I'm single, and I don't know my next move. That's it. You can't let people know, man, because I'm telling you, they will use that against you. You're gonna be the one hurt in the end. So there it is.
Whoa. And how did you develop those 5 fives?
Cause I'm ratchet, so I'll be hanging out with street dudes and whatnot. That last one came from someone, my OG, and his name in my phone is really my OG, because this is an old school gangster, right? And now is a family man. The one, expect the best, prepare for the worst, came from this cat that I was dealing with at the time, or thought I was dealing with, but he was just dealing with me in the whole south side of Atlanta or whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those work relationships, don't do them, guys. That's something else. Well, if you do when you're young, but don't do when you get like past 30 or really 25. Back to the story. The never make a decision when you're desperate came from the Reverend Bishop Percy Miller, aka Master P. I actually seen him in the airport one day, and I was about to yell about it, but he was on the phone. He had two guys next to him.
Mama wants you not to. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the life is 10%. The 10% what happens to you, 90% how you deal with it. I heard that from other elders. Somebody, I can't pinpoint exactly who told me that, but it's the truth, because that's an everyday, battle. And yeah, I think that was behind every no there is a yes. That came from our youth minister. Shout out to Minister Mike. Shout out to Minister Mike, man. He had said that. And I remember when I used to work at, and this is the same place I found that, like, to expect the best but prepare for the worst, when I was working at LA Fitness on the south side in the hood. Oh, Nat, you know the Nat. Oh, Nat. Yeah, Nat. Yes, oh, Nat. And Camp Creek Club, Camp Creek, man.
Yeah.
Back to the story. Did you ever have a man like ever stop you and from while you was working out to holler at you? You ever had that happen to you before?
I don't work out.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, when you worked out to have some kids, unless you let starfish. Back to the story. So no, what happened was, I remember, because I used to go to World Changers at the time, and I had to, like, that's a whole nother story where I had to leave that place. But I remember youth Minister Mike has said that when I was working at LA Fitness, I used to be really good with clear ups. Clear ups is basically, it's like we're debt collectors. Another word for debt collector. So if you had a bill that was due, then we would call you and we would try to get you to clear up your account. And so I was really good with that. And I remember that phrase recited in my head, and then the girl answered and she gave me her information. I cleared it up. I'm like, okay, Minister Mike. And I tried again. Guys like, psych. So yeah, that was about it with that.
Well, I think that is like those tools or those tips. I think those are very powerful and very useful, and I'm going to get those from you, and try to use those within my professional and personal life. I like that.
Of course. I got other stuff like swag. All right.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And if a guy, let me say this as well. I'm about to give y'all like some RNS type of, and if you Black, you should know what RNS stands for. If not, go to urbandictionary.com. If a guy is bold enough to ask you for some cooter cat, you better be bold. Ask him for some money. Don't you be ashamed for that. Get the money from him first. Make him work. Make him come out thousands of dollars. That's why I be having sex with myself, because I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody gonna. I'm paying my own bills. Ain't nobody gonna get none. Let's go ahead. Next question.
Oh my gosh, I cannot with you. So Kyndra, how has using those 5 fives helped you within your journey as coming to where you are now with being a comedian? How has that helped you? How do you utilize that within life?
I utilize that by me not learning I always say, what's the reason why I decided to go after this dream in the first place, right? Because I gotta let people know this as well. Whatever your dreams are, you're gonna have to be okay with people giving you the runaround, with people not showing up to their own podcast, with people who just want to make up an excuse, with people who want to waste your time. You have to be okay with that. What is your why? And you have seasons in your life where you're gonna do really good and really bad when you're going after your dreams. So with that being said, my why is I'm trying to get out of this Section 8 neighborhood, okay, in the hood, because I be migrating like homeless people. I be on the south side and the west side. I ain't hit the east side yet, but I was living in the north side and I liked it out there because they got a Whole Foods market and all that good stuff. They got a Publix like Advance. I was in the nice part of town the other day. The Kroger had like a beautiful Kroger. It was like, wow, this is catered to the white folks. Okay, this is beautiful. Back to the story.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, but no, it's like my why is I don't want to work for the man. I want the man to work for me. And my why is I just want to get out of this neighborhood and start calling the shots around here. That's it.
Yeah. So where do you hope to go from here, and what are your plans for the future?
My plan for the future is to A, have my own radio and television show. B, be a New York's bestsellers Times List author. C, get some head from Rapper the Game and Nelly in due time. Okay. D, okay, because I am Dr. Crump hyphen Haynes hyphen Taylor. Okay. D is to get my PhD in child psychology, early child psychology. The reason I'm doing that is because a lot of our trauma roots from childhood, and I want to be able to root it out and stop it before it starts. Okay. E is to be a minister, and that's it, man. That's it. Maybe go be a rapper too. I can't rap, that's why I need a ghostwriter.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, can you give us a little?
I can. You ready? You ready? I can spit a hot freestyle. Okay, you ready?
Let's go.
Kyndra, in all black, I stay strapped. What you know about that Kridnack mixtape coming out soon?
That sounded like poetry. Here go your snaps, but I think you need to go back to the drawing table on that one, Kyndra. Yeah. If you had one piece of advice, Kyndra, to give someone, what would it be as we close out for tonight?
My one piece of advice is always stay prayed up. No matter what happens, man. People are going to forsake you, but God will never forsake you. And, I always say, without God, I am nothing. And I always tell people that if I can do it, so can you. It's do not sit here and rely on your family, friends, and strangers to push you to the next level. God will push you to the next level. And what's so good about God is that even when he sees you trying, he's going to push you along the way. It's like women who claim, I want a husband, but they don't go out. You expect them to break into the house like, I'm here to be your husband.
Right.
Like that. You got to go out. You got to meet people. Same thing with people after going after their dreams. There's a scripture in the Bible says, a man who does not work does not eat. So maybe that goes to all you Negroes out there who don't want to work and you want to sit here and play video games. It can probably be my unborn children in whatever NBA 30. Okay. By the time I might have kids around that time, because the way that these men are with me, I don't got time for it.
Because I was about to say, is NBA 30 out?
NBA or maybe NBA 12 or something like that. Y'all, I'm telling you, man, you cannot, I'm telling you, you need to do something with your life. Do something with your life. Go after doesn't matter. Abraham and Sarah had a kid at 1,000 years old. The chicken man who created KFC, who's got some, that pink strawberry lemonade slaps, man. Okay, it's like that whoever made that need they ass ate. Okay, but KFC guy, he was 75 years old, man. The person who made the Squid Games, do you know this man? 10 years, nobody wanted him, but he finally kept it. He sold his computer for like close to $700, and now he's a billionaire. So wow. I'm telling you guys, one day I will be able to have a testimony where my side hustle that is a nonprofit organization right now is going to be able to pay my major bills. You got to go. I told y'all, I've been on at least 700 podcasts. Okay. And it's saying, man, since last year, at least. Wow. Okay. And also I want to say this as well. If a person I do a 3-strike rule. I'll hit you up one time, the first time, to let you know, hey, okay, just a friendly reminder. By time number 2, and then possibly by number 3. But my patience where it stands with adults, because a lot of y'all are full of shite. That's my ending. I'm Kyndra Crump. The end.
Well, Kyndra, I want to thank you for coming on and being part of the podcast and sharing your knowledge and tools. Would you please leave your social media platforms just in case someone wants to check you out, follow you, get some laughter in their life just to get them throughout the day? What are your social media platforms?
Of course. And if y'all don't believe that verse where I talked about, if a man does not work, he shall not eat, it talks about in 2 Thessalonians 3. Go read it, okay? But y'all can find me on the corner. But while I'm not on the corner, I'm on Instagram, The Kyndra Crump Show. So D as in the, KYN as in Nancy, DRA, CRU, M as in Mary, P as in Paul Show. Not with no money inside. I'm not no fake ass ASAP Rocky, okay? SHOW. My YouTube is Kyndra Crump. Kyndra. Please put a space between Kyndra and Crump because a lot of y'all's wheels and y'all's bus don't go round and round. CRUMP. My podcast is called The Kyndra Crump Show. So listen, man, if y'all don't want to follow me off of Instagram, follow me on YouTube. If you ain't follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my podcast page. You know, don't be that weirdo. Be like, oh, I'm a fan of your work. Oh, really? I didn't know you were following me. I'm not. So you will ghost follower block. Get out of my face before you get mollywopped. That's all I'll say about that.
Are you on TikTok, Kyndra?
Of course not. That's addicting. Listen, I got too many addictions in my life. Head is one of them, which is why I had to wing myself off of that mess, okay? Ooh, there was this one guy. He didn't even bring me no food. Damn him. Back to the story. So, no, I ain't on no TikTok. You gonna promise me some food and the only thing you bring is your tongue. I felt great. I'll tell you it did, but I was mad. He decided to have the audacity to whip his penis out. I'm like, brother, you better put that back in. He just had the audacity even more to ask for some head. Nick Rowe, please. This was a week before my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Back to the story. No, I'm not on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Serious question. You ever had head that was so good it made you cry?
I plead the fifth, Kyndra. Have you, Kyndra?
All right.
Oh, okay. You plead the fifth.
Of course not. I was out. They said it's possible.
It could be possible. I think that it could be possible. You let me know, Kyndra.
Once either the game or Nelly, you know, does what they do, and I'll tell you who's better. I'm gonna send them over to you. We're going, you know how to like you know, homie hopping. I mean, guys do it with us. All right, they do refer like, hey, bro, hey, okay. That's all they can say. I'm like,
oh my gracious.
Next victim. Okay. All right, sis, this is great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Kyndra, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge, your tools, bringing laughter to the podcast. This is the first time that we kind of did something not so serious, kind of like more fun. So thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the podcast. You guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Kyndra for joining. We hope that you were able to hear something beneficial to you. If you enjoyed our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and be sure to come back next Sunday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And with that being said, always remember, you are a bomb within your own shell, you guys. Peace, love, and light. Until next time. Good night. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're leaving with some valuable information that can help you on your personal journey. Also, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bombshell 1111 or at Bombshell 1111 TV. You can also check out our mental health page, Your Health is Your Wealth, on Facebook, which is a page created to inform and support individuals with mental health and other health conditions. And with that being said, always remember, you guys, you are a bomb within your own shell. And until next time, peace, love, and light.